Janet here for Card Player TV for another edition of the Poker Buzz. Today I'm coming to you from the High Stakes Poker set here at the Golden Nugget. The newest season of High Stakes Poker is shooting this week and will premiere Sunday, February 14th at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on GSN. We got to catch up with the brand new co-host, Kara Scott, as the players prepared for the first cash game session. Kara, looking beautiful as always. It's so good to see you. Can you tell me how this all came about and how they contacted you to be a co-host with Gabe Kaplan?
Well, I've always been a really big fan of High Stakes Poker. I think it was the first poker show that I'd ever seen on television. It really hooked me. So I was really excited when they said, they were looking to bring someone in to talk to the players, to bring that sense of immediacy to the viewers. So, asking the questions that hopefully the viewers are wondering and wanting to ask of the players. And that's what I'm here to do.
So things are going to be a little bit different this season. You're going to interview the players as they play, is that right?
No, we won't be interviewing them as they play because obviously that kind of gets in the way. And I mean, if you're a poker player, you don't really want to be giving things away while you're sat at the table. So we're going to talk to them, between hands. We're going to get them and try to talk a little bit more in depth about some of their strategy ideas of what happened in previous hands. And, hopefully they'll be a little bit more comfortable giving the information as they're away from the table.
Now, you're going to be co-hosting with Gabe Kaplan. Have you gotten to meet him yet?
I got to meet Gabe Kaplan, and that was such an honor because I love him, and I've always been a really big fan. Even just growing up, Welcome Back, Kotter was an awesome show, and I loved it. And I actually got to play against him on a poker show recently, and I can't tell you how that went. But yeah, he's such a great guy.
Now on the show, he and AJ Benza kind of go back and forth and making fun of each other. Are you guys going to have a little bit different dynamic, or are you going to throw the punches too?
I think we're going to have to see what happens with Gabe and I, but yeah, I'm quite happy to be, his punching bag if that's what it has to be. So he is the man, and I'm just here to follow.
Now, we also know you as the hostess for the European Poker Tour, but you're also a player. Can you tell us a little bit about your poker experience?
In terms of poker experience, I've played the last couple of years at the World Series. I managed to cash deep in the main event both years, which was, a bit of a surprise, I think, for everyone. I played another event, too, where I cashed deep in that. I also played the Irish Open in Easter of this year, and I came second, which was, like, a nice big deal for me. And I played a few of the EPTs and managed to do some cashing in that and some TV stuff in England as well. So I've been playing for, I guess, about 2 years, 2.5 years now.
Do you get some cash game experience in there as you travel?
I love a bit of cash games. I definitely do. And when I'm here in Vegas, I generally, between events, I'm playing cash. So, very nice. Don't mind Daniel.
He's just getting comfortable.
Yeah, he does this. He wants to make sure I don't say anything stupid, so he's there to just make sure.
Thank you so much.
Oh, thank you.
A few of the players competing in the first session are November 9 final tableist Phil Ivey, Dana Negreanu, and Tom Dwan. We also caught up with the show's producers, Mori, Eskandani, and David Schiff. First of all, in your own words, can you explain exactly what high-stakes poker is?
High-stakes poker is the highest cash game we can put together with top pros, some recreational players. Although we don't have that many this season, we try to put the people that basically play in highest level for a living and show their skill.
Now, speaking of the lineup, how do you guys pick which players are going to be featured on the show?
I'm going to let Mori answer that because that's his world.
Well, the lineup, normally we go out there and we actually talk to the players, ask the fan, we read and watch and try to get players that are playing together already. So what you see here is a sample of what we found out there. So many of these players are actually playing. As soon as this is over, they'll find a poker room or they're playing online. They're playing with each other all the time.
And I will add to that I think what we try to do is we really try to put a great mix of players together. So we want a combination of really well-known, professionals from around the world, maybe some European players that the American audience isn't as familiar with, amateurs who are, really, well qualified to join the game, and we try to, put a combustible mix of players together and, hopefully create some exciting poker.
People always wonder how tournament players will fare with top pros that play cash game all the time. So if somebody is doing really well in the tournament circuit and is really hot and also wants to show that his skill doesn't just belong at the tournaments and he can play with the best, this will be a good forum for him to come.
In the last press release, we saw that Evgeny Timoshenko is going to compete, and he's one of those guys who's been hot on the tournament circuit. Haven't seen him much playing cash games, is that right?
Timoshenko actually called the day before, and for some reason he couldn't make it.
Oh.
but he would be exactly the kind of person we'd love to have and see how he fares.
So what can we expect that's different this season from the past seasons?
Well, I think the main difference is, we have Kara Scott here on the floor, and Kara is phenomenal. We really wanted to bring a poker expert into the room. She's a player, she's a journalist, she's, a commentator, and we wanted to really bring the viewer and the poker lover closer to the room. So she's going to be really giving a lot of immediate feedback. She's going to be talking to the players after big hands, really trying to get a lot of immediate insight. And I think that's really going to be new and exciting for High Stakes Season 6.
And she knows most of the players outside of the United States. Kara has done a lot of work in Europe, so many of the European players that we are trying to bring to High Stakes, and hopefully it'll be more and more and more, since we find a lot of them that play pretty high limit these days. And Kara is familiar with them, and she's a great addition.
Now, one more question. I don't know if you can answer this, but it seems that every season they're always upping the stakes. I know the first session is $200,000 buy-in, but can we expect to see any bigger games?
Well, actually,
Hope so. I don't think the buy-in will change, but I mean, if they want to up the blinds, we certainly give them free rein to do what they want to do. And
surely we can make this game smaller in blinds. If the player wants to gamble high, it's a no limit hold'em. Really is going to depend on people's mood. I've seen swings of $500,000 in much smaller game than this. And yet again, we can make the blinds much bigger. If the players don't want to gamble, then the game is going to look, smaller than it is. But with this group, rest assured, they're going to gamble.
I mean, one more thing that I just want to add is I think our lineup this year is unbelievable. I mean, Dwan, Ivy, Negreanu, Helmuth, Mattisau, Brunson. I mean, we have an unbelievable lineup this year, and we're thrilled about it. So I think it's going to be our best season of High Stakes. Yeah.
And for some reason, I think all of them are ready to hit hard. So we'll see.
And actually, from a viewer standpoint, the one thing I was curious about is when you do have such a dynamic lineup, fireworks can happen, and of course, in cash games, when you're losing, sometimes you have to step down. So do you have players who are standing by waiting to be inserted?
Yes, we do have players. Again, the players that are standing by are no less than the players that are playing. We have people like we have people that are playing in certain days, but they would like to play in all days, and obviously it's impossible to accommodate. So wonderful players like Patrick Antonius and David Benjamin and Elia Lesra are actually waiting and hoping for somebody that brought one bullet to leave so they can take that seat.
And you bring up a good point. This is a real cash game. This is really their money. We're just here, with TV cameras shooting them playing their game. So if they get stuck, they get stuck. This is our version of a reality show because we're not controlling, their buy-in and their stakes.
Players can't get enough of poker, right?
Yeah, that's true.
We've got exclusive interviews with a few of the high-stakes poker players, so be sure to look for that as the show premieres in early February. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Christiana for Card 3 TV.